Hi Christophe.
Hi.
How are you?
Well, fine. We've had a good lunch.
Yeah, it's nice.
So I'm happy. Now we can sleep.
Thanks for watching. So you've just had 2 clinics, one in Scotland at the Russia Music Centre and one at Music Nation in Leeds. Could you just tell the viewers what sorts of things you were covering in the classes?
So mainly this is very general, but I like to speak about ways of developing your playing, whatever your style is and whatever your level is, by using very basic exercises that you can develop, well, to a certain level depending on how advanced you are. And it's more, mainly what I spoke about was the way of using the hybrid picking, because I guess this is one of the techniques that opens up the most, as many doors as possible, because you can both use it for lead playing, for rhythm playing, and you can also cover a large array of genres with this technique. And we also had an in-depth let's say study of the triad over basses, just to reinvent the way you think about chords and how to change the basic chords into something a little more sophisticated, but without knowing much about theory. Yeah. A lot of guitarists know a lot of things with their fingers, but they don't really know the names, they don't really know how to use certain things. And the idea was to use those ideas that they already have under their fingers and try to see how they can work them out so they can kind of, transform this knowledge into something a little more proficient.
Yeah, cool.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So, obviously those things you're teaching, they're big parts of your style.
Yeah.
How would you describe your guitar playing? Because you're very difficult to put a label on.
I'm a difficult person. No, but I'd say I'm 46 and I've been listening to music since I was 5. And I grew up in a family where there was a lot of music played around. So there was classical music, pop rock, hard rock, jazz. And personally, I never considered myself belonging to a specific genre. I'm more somebody who just, picked up things from every guitarist, from every styles that I've been influenced by. And I guess I would describe myself as maybe a metal player meets a jazz player with a little bit of humor, because I've probably been influenced a lot by people like Frank Zappa, the Beatles, so people who were dropping in a lot of humor in their music. And I always found that music has to be something that doesn't, it's hard to describe. I don't like to put things into one box. And I don't want to be labeled as, that guy who is the specialist of metal, the specialist of blues or whatsoever. Because the idea is that I want to enter a place, there is another guitarist and whatever style he plays, I want to be able to play with him. That's really what has always been my motto from the beginning, and I guess that's why probably I don't belong to any chapel. Chapel is correct? Yeah.
So, you're talking about humour. You mentioned something the other day, which was basically about your band, Morgany, and you said that none of you take it too seriously, and then, when you're playing fast and doing all the really technical sorts of things, it comes across in a humorous way. Whereas a lot of players, when they do that, it's very, very serious. Because of the 80s and all the players back then, it's kind of hard to take it seriously, so it's refreshing to do that. What advice do you give to people who, want to try and be more themselves basically, and have more humour and inject that into their playing and not take it too seriously, while still putting in a lot of hard work obviously to get to where you are?
I guess it all has to do with culture. I mean, you mean how can you?
Yeah, well, obviously it's very easy to take it very seriously. You obviously have to. You're playing seriously in the sense that you've worked very hard, but still maintaining the humorous aspect of it. I think a lot of players struggle to bring that across in the playing. It's hard to describe, but how do you play like that?
Well, I guess it's a question of personality. Also, I'm somebody who loves to. Crack jokes and have fun, and to me, being on a stage has always been a moment of, moment of fun, of complete, abandon, and I I guess maybe not everyone is like me, and there are people who are very serious in their everyday life, and probably the playing reflects that. But I guess there are more and more players, like Ronthal, probably Matthias, of course. Who else? You've got three in that league too, even if there's some fun in his playing. And I guess those people that have a very large culture in terms of general culture, probably when they practice, the playing is not just the group of notes they are playing. It has a meaning that goes far beyond the music itself, because they probably have like a moving in the head when they play, and that is the story behind those notes. And I guess when you try to put stories in music, it helps being a little more consistent and not just be a performer that does licks. You tell a story and then it becomes something probably a little deeper. And if you are someone like me who's into humor and things like this, that reflects in your playing. That's how it happens. So I guess read some books, watch some movies, watch cartoons, and try to put some music on it, or listen to your own emotions and try to to find a soundtrack that really fits with the images that you have in your head, and you will probably get that in your playing.
You mentioned cartoons there. Something that you've not discussed this weekend is that initially you used to make a living doing cartoons, I believe. Is that right?
Well, yes, I worked in a advertising agency as a roughman. Roughman is the one who draws the cartoon before the movie is shot, whatever. Well, I did that a bit for a living, but it was really boring, and that job doesn't exist anymore. And but I guess in my head, it's always been connected to music, and a lot of the cartoonists that have influenced me are people who have a big connection with music and with rock and roll.
Yeah, sure.
So it's kind of connected to me.
So it seems to have stuck with you with the cartoon guitar clinics, the Metal cartoon album.
I wanted to put myself in a situation where I was one of the character of the cartoon. I don't know whether you ever saw the cover of the Metal cartoon, the album. Well, supposedly it's me as a superhero. Of course, it's a parody, and yes, I think the connection in between cartooning and playing guitar, playing music is really obvious. And I'm sure that if you ask people like Ron or Matthias, they both cartoon beat. And
Mika also is.
Who?
Mika?
Yeah, Mika, of course.
Yeah.
Probably is the one who has achieved the biggest connection between his art as a cartoonist and his art as a musician, because he puts himself in a situation where he plays with himself as a character. So, and it's hilarious because it's very well done. So. Yes, I'm sure that the connection in between both worlds is really obvious.
Yeah. Just while you're on the subject of Metal cartoon, is there ever going to be, do you have a plan to release a follow-up to the first album?
We don't know yet. I say we because I'm going to work with my bandmates on this, and a lot of people ask me about that. At the moment there's nothing in the plans because I'm working hard on the new multiple CD, but I already have songs. I have like 6 songs that are ready, and that probably would be nice in a follow-up, but I can't say much more about that. I'm really focusing on Multiple at the moment, and the acoustic duo with Olivier Roman-Garcia.
Yeah.
It's really my 2 main things.
Yeah. So, Multiple CD then, when is that coming out?
Well, hopefully maybe in about 6-7 months, because we already have 1/3 of the album. We're going to have maybe 12 songs on that one, and we have like 4 songs ready. And during summer, we're gonna make like a 1-week session in this house in the middle of nowhere, trying to finish composing. Then we're gonna probably play the tunes live a few times just to see what works, what doesn't work, and what can be rearranged. And after in October, we're gonna start the process of recording. So it means that afterwards, maybe next, it's hard to say, but maybe it'll take 7 to 8 months before it's ready, approximately. Maybe February February would be a good date to a good release date.
And in the meantime, they can still listen to Brutal Romance.
They can what? Sorry?
Brutal Romance. So in the meantime, they can still be listening to
Brutal
Romance,
of
which
course.
is incredible.
You get to listen to it, you get to bang it, you know, steal it to your neighbours, I don't know, but...
So obviously then, you know, with Morgable and some of these other projects, you spend a lot of time in doing clinics, also travelling around the world. You know, how do you maintain, you know, your very calm, cool, collected personality and still be, because it's quite an intense lifestyle, really.
Yes, but I guess that if every morning you wake up and tell yourself that you're very lucky to do that and to still be alive in this very brutal world, that's enough of a kick to keep you moving. And I'm lucky because what I do has remained really. It's very. How would you describe that? I'm not a rock star. This is really you know, something easy because I'm doing my own thing and I don't have much pressure. I just go around the world where I'm asked for and do my thing. I mean, it's the best of jobs. The only thing sometimes is with age, it gets sometimes a little tiring to do it because well, when you have 4 or 5 jet lags in 2 months, your body kind of reacts. For example, today I have my wheelchair to move in Manchester. No, but well, I guess if you maintain some, you know, some fresh air in your brain and you consider it as a job, but also as a chance because it's a passion, there's nothing that can stop you. Maybe with age, I will slow down a little bit and probably spend a little more time with the family. But I just love to do it. You know, I guess the first day I was waking up in the morning and tell myself, I don't want to do that anymore because it's too much, it requires too much energy. Then probably I will start the process of thinking about stopping, slowing down, or doing something else. But at the moment, no signs of weakness.
Yeah. So when you are at home, you were talking about teaching in Geneva. You do that a couple of days
every Monday and Tuesday.
So aside from touring the world, and you know, I would say yeah, look at rockstar, the persona of that. When you're then, you know, at home and you're doing lots of teaching, is that something? Because obviously in the clinic it came across like you really enjoy teaching and interacting with students, and is that a big part of? Does that really fulfil you to be able to do that lots?
Well, it's about the same reply as the previous question. I mean, it still moves me to teach, and it's still something that I feel like I have to do because I guess when I was a young player, I would have loved to have a teacher who was passionate and who would give me all the keys to open all the doors, and well, that's my job also. So and it sometimes keeps you down to earth to have this regular, you know, routine with the same students. They don't see you as a guitar hero or as a rock star. They see you as your teacher that you're gonna see every week and from whom you try to learn sometimes. I guess it's a good balance to have those two different careers. Let's say one is really like something that is a little bit crazy with, you know, planes, trains, countries, different broken English, and you know, all of this. And at the same time, something that really keeps you focused on how it's like to be in the real life and to have a daily job.
So then, you know, just kind of rounding this up, what is at the core of when you would offer to students the advice that you would give for playing? Obviously there's so many things they could work on. They could be working on the techniques, whether it's hybrid picking or, you know, alternate picking or whatever. But apart from all the techniques and the theory, what's and then you touched on this in the class when you were talking about the passion and how it has to be rewarding. You have to feel like it's pleasure is the driving. Could you talk a bit about that? You know, just about reminding people that the pleasure of playing the guitar should be at the core of it rather than all these things that they can basically worry about.
Yeah, because I know what you mean. Sometimes when you get a little too deep in technique and everything, you kind of lose the point, the starting point from when you first had this on hand and how it worked for you, how it moved you. And I guess one important thing is to always keep in mind what was the reason you studied. Even when you get to a high level and you kind of focus on technique and everything. And one of the good things that I'm trying to do when I do a session, when I do, let's say, a 6-hour session, is really to keep time at the end of the session to play on tunes, just as a, you know, kind of karaoke. You just run your iPod, you take maybe 10 songs that you like to listen to, and you just play along with it. And I guess it's very refreshing because you forget about all these techniques, all these, you know, acrobatics, and you get into you enter a mode where when you're like a kid, you know, when you were just looking at yourself in the mirror and trying to be a rock star and trying to act as your favorite players. And I guess that's something that really refreshes your brain. You forget about the technique, you just think about the main driving force of your passion to music, which is first being a listener. And I'm so happy sometimes when I just put an AC/DC tune and I just play the chords along the Young Brothers. And it's just, even now I'm 46 and it feels like you know, I'm this kid in a group when I was 13 and just held the guitar for the first time and wanting to play those songs so dramatically. So I guess that's the point. It's a good way to keep this in touch.
Well, thank you very much for
my pleasure.
The entire weekend, and it's, I think everybody who's came to the classes has left with a bit of that inspiration to get more pleasure. So thanks again.
Well, thank you, my friend, and I definitely hope to be back someday.
Yeah, anytime.
For some more beers.